as Jasmine Pineda and Matt Brownies share more of their blossoming journey into parenthood together, I'm beginning to think the 90-Day Fiancé pair is a better match than I originally believed. Jasmine and Matt may not have made their relationship official, but I think they're on the way, considering they just had a beautiful baby girl and the Panamanian star is separated from Gino Palazzolo. The past year has been an emotional whirlwind of drama for Jasmine and Gino on the 90-Day Fiancé franchise. Jasmine finally made it to America and married Gino, only for them to appear on 90-Day Fiancé, happily ever after. With their newlywed marriage already in shambles, they then appeared on 90 Day, the last resort, where Jasmine asked Gino for an open marriage. And now here we are. Jasmine has had a baby with the man she welcomed into her open marriage. Gino is beyond upset and disgusted with his wife, and I'm surprised that it took the couple this long to completely dissolve. However, while Jasmine often refers to Matt as her support system, I'm beginning to think the chemistry is far deeper than that. One quality that I particularly like about Matt and Jasmine's relationship is the support they offer one another. This support was especially evident during her marriage to Gino and how Matt treated her during that time. I can see why Jasmine gravitated toward him and why she was adamant about Matt being the man they opened their marriage to. Matt was very respectful from the beginning about Jasmine's marriage and dynamic. The support was showcased in 90 Day, the last resort, when she video chatted with Matt for advice. The moment I realized how much I liked Matt was when he surprised me by not suggesting that Jasmine get divorced or leave Gino. Instead, Matt pushed Jasmine to keep working on their relationship first. There are some suspicions that they may have blurred the lines, but according to both of them, they respected the sanctity of Jasmine and Gino's marriage. Matt's support goes beyond Jasmine and Gino's marriage. I understand to outsiders their dynamic might seem unethical or weird, but Matt seems to genuinely care about his family, and I think that's the quality that matters the most. In a recent Instagram story, Jasmine addressed some rumors in her relationship with Matt and claimed he is just a support system given the circumstances and a good friend. According to Jasmine, she didn't have the mental energy for a full-blown relationship or the desire to trust another man. She clearly specified that Matt was a very good friend and her emotional support system, which is honestly one of the best ways to initially build a solid relationship. Matt also provided financial support over the last few months, and he welcomed her into his home in Clearwater, Florida, solidifying the sentiment that his feelings for Jasmine are pure. In the end, after everything Jasmine has been through with Gino, I think this relationship with Matt is a breath of fresh air. While Gino obviously provided financially for Jasmine, he was certainly lacking in other areas. He didn't offer her much physical support, which is how they found themselves in this situation to begin with. Gino also provided little to no emotional and mental support, which was obvious in the number of times he gaslit her or when he released her nudes, but then downplayed the situation. Overall, based on her past relationship, her connection with Matt seems to be starting on a healthy level playing ground, and the 90-Day Fiancé star might finally found her match after all. 90-Day Fiancé star Pedro Jimeno is mourning a loss in his latest social media post. He's known for being one of TLC's most successful reality TV personalities behind the cameras. He was able to turn his life around since his divorce from Chantel Everett in March 2022. He's been thriving as a real estate agent, but despite his wealth, Pedro couldn't save a loved one. Keep reading to see his sad news. Aside from his multiple property deals, Pedro has also been documenting his bodybuilding journey over the past few months. The 90-Day Fiancé star likes to share clips from his intense workout routines, lifting heavy weights and performing different kinds of cardio exercises. Pedro was also commended for his maturity. Last month, he shared a strong message about discipline and consistency in life. According to him, his physical journey hasn't been easy, but seeing his progress makes him even more motivated. He added, small daily habits add up over time. But amid his transformation journey, Pedro recently shared sad news after a loved one passed away. Pedro Jimeno recently took to IG stories to share the devastating news about a loved one's passing. According to the 90-Day Fiancé star, his dog Chica just passed away. He uploaded numerous pictures to remember his dog. Pedro didn't exactly share what happened, but the dog may have died from old age. Some of the photos Pedro shared also showed Chica wearing clothes and accessories proving that he was loved by his master. This wasn't the first time Pedro showed how much he loves animals. He also owns cats and has uploaded hilarious photos with them online. Last December, the 90 Day Fiancé star shared a picture of his black cat hanging out at the top of his kitchen shelves. He captioned, "Black cats are different." Many fans also salute Pedro for being a pet lover. Unfortunately, he hasn't shared an update about his cats for quite some time due to his busy life as a real estate agent. Pedro Jimeno has also been discreet about his love life. However, he was previously rumored to be linked with another cast member, Sophie Sierra. This comes after the two uploaded IG stories with each other's identical feet. They drove to the same place, creating speculations that they were dating. Sophie ended her relationship with Rob Warren by the end of 90 Day, The Last Resort. Meanwhile, Rob is also expected to appear in the upcoming new spin-off, 90 Day, Hunt for Love. What makes things interesting is that Pedro's ex-wife, Chantel Everett, will be in the spin-off, creating speculations that Rob and Pedro may have swapped partners. I don't usually agree with what 90 Day Fiancé alum Florian has to say, but I think he was right about his criticisms of 90 Day. The Last Resort therapist Reba Karin Thomas for her ill counseling of Gino Palazzolo and Jasmine Pineda. Florian is the husband of Stacy Silva, whose twin sister, Darcy Silva, is a popular figure from the franchise. The Silva twins even got their own spin-off, Darcy and Stacy, which Florian was also a part of for all 5 seasons. Florian and Stacy are rumored to have split since the show, after being together for almost 10 years. Florian and Stacy were one of 6 couples who participated in 90 Day, The Last Resort Season 2. The therapy-style spin-off gave the couples at crossroads in their relationships/marriages a mix of individual and group therapy sessions hosted by therapists Reba, Dr. Janie Lacey, and James Kelleher. Outside of therapy, the couples partied together and coming led, which led to tensions among the cast, including between Florian and Jasmine. During the Last Resort tell-all, Florian exploded at Reba for how she counseled Jasmine and Gino, and I think his assertions were correct. Gino and Jasmine came to 90 Day, The Last Resort, in a very bad place in their marriage. Gino had met Panama native Jasmine on a sugar baby website originally, and the pair began a long-distance, virtual relationship during the pandemic. Once restrictions were lifted, Gino met Jasmine for the first time in Panama, in before the 90 Days Season 5. While the pair said they loved each other, they fought constantly over Jasmine's jealousy and controlling personality and behavior. Despite that, Gino proposed to Jasmine in before the 90 Days Season 6, and they applied for the K-1 visa. Jasmine arrived in Gino's native Michigan in 90 Day Fiancé Season 10. The couple had issues over Gino's desire to have children, and Jasmine not wanting more. She already has 2 kids she left behind in Panama, and over money, as Gino fully financially supported Jasmine. Against what I thought was all reason, Gino and Jasmine married in June 2023, but their problems never went away. That's how they ended up on The Last Resort. At the resort, Gino and Jasmine had admittedly not had sex in 9 months, because Gino and Jasmine always argued. Coming to the resort, Jasmine already had a romantic interest in a man, Matt Brownies, whom she met at the gym. When she sat with therapist Reba gushed about how she was in an open marriage and brought the idea up to Jasmine regarding her situation with Gino. To me, it didn't seem like Reba explained what an open marriage, or ethical non-monogamy, would entail, and I think Reba totally ignored that Gino and Jasmine would never benefit from such an arrangement, given all their core problems. All I heard Reba say was that an open marriage would require rules and consent from all 3 parties, and did not counsel Jasmine in the ways it could make things worse. Jasmine ended up giving Gino an ultimatum of breaking up or agreeing to the open marriage with Matt, and Gino agreed during their recommitment ceremony. However, it got as bad as I imagined, because Jasmine showed up to the tell-all very pregnant with Matt's baby. I feel Reba had a responsibility to recognize Gino and Jasmine would not work well in an open marriage, and she clearly failed. During the Last Resort Season 2 tell-all, Jasmine proudly showed off her baby bump, and that Matt was the father. She got called a pregnant wee by her castmate Rob Warren, and Gino was visibly hurt by Jasmine's boastful pregnancy. The 3 therapists were brought on stage and were asked by tell-all host Sean Robinson if they were pleased by the couple's current situations. Do you look at these couples as being successful in finding out what they actually wanted in a relationship? Sean asked. I think so, replied Reba. Moreover, when asked about Gino and Jasmine specifically, Reba said she wasn't surprised by the outcome. This admission appalled me because Reba should have known better than to push the open marriage in the first place. After Florian started in on Reba for her role in Gino and Jasmine's outcome, Jasmine defended Reba, saying she felt she was informed about what she was getting into. Meanwhile, Gino challenged Reba's notion that she counseled them correctly by asserting that no one explained to him that an open marriage wouldn't fit their situation. I understand why Jasmine defended Reba, and Reba relished the defense, but I thought it was totally unsavory as Reba took no responsibility as a professional who gave bad advice. Jasmine was the only one benefiting from the open marriage, and Reba couldn't see that she caused Gino to suffer. Things got heated between Florian and Reba when Florian gave his opinion on the poor judgment call of Reba to even think an open marriage would be a good thing for Gino and Jasmine. Upon Reba not taking responsibility for Gino, relaying that he felt uninformed going into his decision to accept the open marriage ultimatum, Reba had a sharp retort. Yeah, so it's not my job to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. That retort is what set Florian off and got him on the offense. Look at the product. You ruined her marriage, Florian slammed. I think it's really easy to point fingers. I talked to you guys about what's required, Reba relayed. I think this exchange underscored Reba's inability as a therapist to recognize that she made a bad call. Instead, she doubled down on her giving legs to the open marriage idea that Jasmine ran with. While I find Florian to oftentimes be volatile and unconcise with his words, I felt his blast towards Reba was spot on. Reba's reaction to Florian's diss solidified to me that her professionalism as a therapist was off. I feel Reba should be embarrassed that she was the catalyst to Gino and Jasmine's marriage breakup, and Jasmine running off with Matt and getting pregnant. Reba clearly didn't understand Gino and Jasmine's situation, or she would have realized ethical non-monogamy would never have worked for them. Florian had a harsh take on Reba's counseling, but he was right. Hopefully, 90 Day, the last resort's Reba learns from this experience and doesn't give repeat bad advice in the future. After watching the 90 Day, The Last Resort Tell-All, it's clear to me that the therapists embarrass themselves. 90 Day, The Last Resort Season 2 just finished airing and included 6 90-day fiancé franchise couples at crossroads in their relationships/marriages. Natalie Mordavtseva and Josh Weinstein, Stacy Silva and Florian Sukaj, Ariella Weinberg and Biniam Schreiber, Brandon Gibbs and Julia Trubkina, Rob Warren and Sophie Sierra, and Jasmine Pineda, and Gino Palazzolo participated in the 3-week-long group and individual therapy resort. Season 2 was filmed in March 2024, and the tell-all was filmed in January 2025. From what I saw, The Last Resort's point was lost on a lot of the couples, and I feel like most ended in worse places than when they started. The group participated in challenges, exercises, and talking therapy sessions to get to the root of what was wrong in their connections with their partners. Only Brandon and Julia truly came out of the experience as a stronger couple. The therapists showed up to the tell-all, and I think they made themselves look bad. The therapist that I took the most issue with was sex therapist Reba Corin Thomas. After The Last Resort Season 2 started airing, I saw troubling accusations about Reba's actual credentials as a therapist. Per Reba's LinkedIn profile, she is not even a therapist. She describes herself as a celebrity sexuality educator, entertainer, and entrepreneur with a degree in PR. I found that extremely alarming off the bat, but my opinion of Reba got worse and her tell-all behavior sealed my opinion of her. Reba worked the most with Natalie and Josh, and Gino and Jasmine during the season. With Natalie and Josh, Reba pushed them to do a sexual syrup exercise in which Natalie was supposed to apply it to Josh and lick it off, and Josh declined because he wasn't comfortable. That sent Natalie into a tailspin that Reba did nothing to mitigate. In fact, she left the room. Reba continued to push the narrative that intimacy was a problem in Natalie and Josh's relationship when they had much bigger issues Reba didn't address. Then, Reba really rubbed me the wrong way by introducing Jasmine to the idea of an open marriage because Reba had one herself when Jasmine and Gino were in no place to entertain that idea. On Reba's suggestion about the open marriage idea as a whole, Jasmine forced Gino, via an ultimatum, to get him to agree to the open marriage with Matt Brownies, a man she already had a connection with from the gym. Come the tell-all, Jasmine showed up pregnant with Matt's baby while still married to Gino. When the therapists were brought on the tell-all stage to address the couples and outcomes, I believe Reba totally discredited herself and took no accountability for how Gino and Jasmine ended up. Tell-all host Sean Robinson asked the therapists if they were surprised about where Gino and Jasmine were. Reba said she was not surprised by the end result of how their open marriage turned out, which shocked me. My professional and personal advice is they rushed into a situation none of them was really comfortable with. Since the open marriage idea was at Reba's behest, I felt she was overly flippant about such a serious outcome. I don't think Reba had any right to suggest the idea in the first place, given that Gino and Jasmine were in a bad place. Moreover, Reba was totally unsupportive of Gino when he related the tell-all that he felt uninformed. Josh and Florian also pushed that narrative that Reba's pushing of the open marriage didn't fit Gino and Jasmine's circumstances. Jasmine sided with Reba, and Ariella agreed, which I saw Reba run with and make a snide remark, which I found totally unsavory. Yeah, so it's not my job to tell you what you should and shouldn't do, Reba said. Look at the product. You ruined her marriage, Florian retorted. I think it's really easy to point fingers. I talked to you guys about what's required, Reba came back with. Florian not only came for Reba, but he also called out Dr. Janie Lacey. When Florian was in the hot seat, Dr. Lacey said Florian, and Stacy fell into a parent/child role a lot. The notion triggered Florian, and I felt Dr. Lacey should have known better than to attack Florian's behavior when it was something she didn't address during the resort. Dr. Lacey let herself get bulldozed by Florian, who discredited Dr. Lacey's ability to give advice. I saw the exchange as not a good look for Dr. Lacey, who I thought lost her authority due to her bad reading on what approach she should have taken. While I thought Florian's reaction and insults of Dr. Lacey were a bit extreme, I don't think he was wrong since Dr. Lacey did not help his marriage. After Florian came for Reba and Dr. Lacey, therapist James Kelleher tried to step in and get through to Florian, but James came off as totally condescending, causing Florian to spiral even more. Furthermore, driving my disdain home for Reba, she told Florian during the heated exchange to put some energy into your marriage, which came off to me as catty and unprofessional. Regarding how James responded to Natalie and Josh's relationship state, I thought he said all the things he should have said to them during therapy. For me, this underscored how aloof James was about the therapy he delivered. James was wholly ineffective and came off during the tell-all as resentful towards particular cast because they felt the therapist didn't do a good job at the resort. I think the choice of therapists for 90 Day, The Last Resort Season 2, was a mess. Not only did their therapy approaches during the resort turn out to be ineffective and off-base, but their tell-all attitudes of unaccountability and finger-pointing themselves earned them a badge of embarrassment. Given the poor nature of their counseling and the sour places they ended on during the tell-all, it wouldn't be wise for any of the three of them to come back for Season 3. 90 Day, The Last Resort Season 2 has come to an end after 4 months of complete chaos. The Last Resort Season 2 was much more eventful than Season 1, which made it all the more fun to watch. The 6 couples featured on Season 2 went through many ups and downs. In the end, only 2 couples were together by the tell-all, while 4 parted ways. Here are our picks for the official winners and losers of Season 2. Brandon Gibbs and Julia Trubkina had a rough start at the resort. The couple decided to give therapy a try after not being able to get on the same page about having kids. At first, it was unclear why Julia was opposed to the idea, but she later revealed that a doctor in Russia told her she might not be able to have kids. Later on, Julia confessed that she had cheated on Brandon early on in their relationship when she kissed her ex. Tensions between the couple escalated when Julia admitted that she had filed for visas for her parents without telling Brandon. Despite all the obstacles they faced, Brandon and Julia's love for one another brought them back together. They were one of 3 couples to recommit at the end of the season and were one of 2 couples still together at the tell-all. Every couple faces challenges, but those who truly love each other can overcome them. Brandon and Julia were certainly the highlight of the season. While Sophie Sierra and Rob Warren's marriage didn't work out, she still left the season as a winner. Before coming to the resort, Sophie and Rob were separated. They gave things one more try at the retreat, but weren't able to move past their issues for good. Sophie discovered that Rob had been using a dating app at the resort, which rightfully infuriated her. Instead of apologizing, Rob tried to blame Sophie and make her look like she was lying. At the recommitment ceremony, Sophie decided it was time to leave her marriage to Rob once and for all. She read a letter she had written to her younger self to express how she didn't feel fulfilled in the relationship. Sophie was incredibly brave to do this in front of a group of people, and she ultimately did the right thing by choosing herself. Sophie didn't leave the last resort in a relationship, but she left with her head held high. Gino Palazzolo went to the resort with high hopes, but ended up with a lot less than he came with. At the beginning of the retreat, it seemed like Gino and Jasmine Pineda could fix their marriage. However, Jasmine indicated that she needed an open marriage to stay with Gino due to his refusal to be intimate with her. Gino reluctantly agreed and allowed Jasmine to be intimate with Matt Branasterianu. While Gino and Jasmine recommitted at the resort, things fell apart quickly after. At the tell-all, Jasmine shocked the cast by revealing she was pregnant with Matt's baby. As a result, she and Gino are now separated. While the men on the cast were quick to blame Jasmine, Gino is more to blame. Jasmine expressed that Gino treated her poorly, and she honestly did everything to make their relationship work. At the end of the day, Gino was unwilling to put effort into his marriage and is now facing the consequences of it. Biniam Schreiber was completely checked out at the resort, despite trying to save his marriage with Ariella Weinberg. Ariella has been a controversial cast member at times, but she really did put effort into fixing things with Biniam. On the other hand, Biniam didn't seem to care about the therapy at all. He was more focused on partying and socializing with the rest of the cast. While claiming that he wanted to work things out with Ariella, Biniam refused to even talk with her at times. To make things worse, he refused to take accountability for cheating on her numerous times. While the rest of the cast was quick to judge others for infidelity, no one called out Biniam for doing it. Biniam may have been popular with the other couples at the resort, but his actions make him one of this season's losers.